Welcome back to our coverage of the great Chicago flood. Workers are still trying to plug the leak in the pipeline beneath the Kinsey Street Bridge. Let's get an update from Channel 2's Jay Levine. Jay?
Bill, there's a lot of activity going on right now. Let's take a look down right behind me, and we can see the scene right below. The truck, you can see, has just dumped a load of gravel down into the hole, the second hole, the hole furthest away. They have already filled that hole with sandbags, and so now there's gravel on top of sandbags, and that creates the temporary dam, which will be used so the divers can get down into the other hole and start putting the concrete down in. Now, I was asked just a couple of moments ago by Fire Commissioner Orozco to pass along a message. He heard us talking to the mayor, knew we were on live, and he's making this request to those owners of buildings downtown who are employing some divers, as we've seen earlier in the week, to check out their basements, to check and see what's going on down in their flooded basements. He's asking anyone who's employing a diver to check out anything anywhere in the city to notify the fire department first. He says there's a reason why they have ambulances standing by here on the scene whenever there are divers down. He wants to be careful, and he wants to know what's going on in the city with divers. So that's the situation here up to the minute. It's going very, very fast here. A lot of activity. We'll keep you posted. Bill?
And that's good news. We'll pass that along. Indeed, the Board of Trade has some of those divers. That picture from high above the Kinsey Street Bridge is an image that is now part of our city's history. For 5 days, we have watched from above as divers and engineers have worked around the clock to plug the leak. Tonight, Linda McLennan is here with a look back at the extraordinary events this week as they unfolded before our eyes. Linda?
Bill, it has truly been an historic week in the life of this city. So much has happened, and yet, in other ways, it seems so little has happened. Let's go back to early Monday morning. The Loop was waking up to the start of another work week, but this was a week that would turn the heart of this city upside down. Day one, Monday. The trash swirling on the surface of the Chicago River hardly seems like cause for alarm. But 40 feet below, river water is rushing through a tunnel leak and is already flooding the basements of 24 buildings in the Loop. By 9 a.m., water is gushing into the basement of City Hall, reaching 11 feet deep, and the hall is closed to the public.
We have called not only the Corps of Engineers, our own department, private people to come in and try to correct the situation as soon as possible.
By 11 a.m., the Loop is being evacuated as power is cut off to buildings with flooded basements. The Board of Trade falls silent. Traders make their way down stairways in the dark.
You don't make money, but you don't lose money.
Not many people recognize the magnitude of the economic disaster yet. Shutting down and sending home an estimated 250,000 downtown workers. Early estimates put the losses at $40 million for just one day. Firefighters and work crews begin the laborious battle of the pumps and hoses, trying to bring down water levels to minimize the damage. Deserted Loop streets become a tangle of gushing hoses and emergency trucks. Back at the Kinsey Bridge, the site of the leak, a game plan emerges, but everyone is improvising. Try to plug the hole with anything that might work. At first, there's optimism.
We're hoping to push the stone on, seal the mud and everything, and cause to limit the flow.
Dump trucks bring in rocks and gravel. A barge loaded with mattresses arrives on the scene. Quick-drying cement is poured through a hose. But by nightfall, there is little sign of progress. In the darkened Loop, an extra 215 police officers patrol the empty streets, and they have a message for would-be looters.
Well, there's more of us than there is of you, so think twice about it. We're ready.
While deep underground, weary contractors and volunteers toil on into the night to pump out basements. Along with exhaustion, they face danger from gas fumes belched out by pump generators.
We're not getting enough ventilation in here.
The work goes on round the clock. Day 2, Tuesday. An angry Mayor Daley fires a city official who he says ignored a warning months ago of potential problems. A videotape shot in January by a cable TV company clearly shows early signs of damage to the tunnel wall. And attention focuses on those river pilings, the likely culprits in this disaster. Prospects for plugging the leak seem as murky as the river water still pouring into the Board of Trade basement, where a diver is lowered into 25 feet of water.
Our main objective is, number one, make sure they're 4-inch pipes, cut the wires going inside, and then put caps on, cap all 3 off. We've got to do that. We hope to have that done tonight for sure.
Marshall Fields and other downtown businesses begin to tote up their losses. Estimates now running as high as $500 million, if it takes 2 weeks to dry out the loop.
Currently, the impact is dramatic because we're not able to open for business, and we can't do that until the city gets the water out of our third sub-basement.
Day 3, Wednesday. It seems each step forward is followed by 2 steps back. The water is still rising at City Hall, now seeping into the pedway to the State of Illinois Center. President Bush declares downtown Chicago a federal disaster area. And as night rain lashes the Kinsey site, new heroes emerge from the crisis, divers lowered into darkness to assess the damage. Day 4, Thursday. Those divers give us our first view of the tunnel leak provided by cameras attached to their helmets.
Does that feel like good solid concrete in the tunnel? Yeah, it feels pretty strong.
That's a fish that's swimming by. Later, bathed in the floodlights at the Kinsey Bridge, progress in clearing some of the debris from the tunnel bottom with a hand-operated electric pump. In the loop, a ComEd transformer in the basement of Marshall Fields remains under 20 feet of water. For safety reasons, engineers prepare to temporarily cut off power to 7 more downtown buildings. And with a flick of a switch, the buildings go dark. It may be a fitting image for a crisis that could cost Chicago's downtown $1 billion or more before it's over. And from every indication tonight, this may not be over for a long time. Bill?
Been quite a week. The Great Chicago Flood has opened our eyes to another lifestyle that few of us ever see, life on the river. Tonight, Channel 2's John Drummond tells us about the rivermen who see our city from a much different perspective.
They call them river rats, the men and women who toil on towboats and barges that haul freight through America's heartland. The hours are long, and time sometimes hangs heavy, but you can never let your guard down. There's a lot of traffic, and the channel of a river or canal can often be treacherous.
You constantly have shallow water problems with the 9-foot barges. The channel fluctuates. Watching your suction, the canal is narrow, you will suck into the banks. That's just a natural characteristic of operations. And if you have a configuration of a tow of empties, you always have to watch it closely in the wind. You can have a wind problem.
Barges that ply their trade in the Chicago waterway system carry a variety of freight: cement, chemicals, coal, grain, petroleum, scrap iron, and steel, just to name a few. The barges are huge, each barge 35 feet wide and 195 to 200 feet long. To give you an idea how much cargo a barge can hold, the load of one barge is the equivalent of 15 jumbo hoppers, or the equivalent of 58 trucks. The size of the crews vary. Some that make long hauls, say from Chicago to New Orleans, carry a crew of 11 or 13.
Now this towboat, the Emily B, has a crew of 6. The men work 21 days on and then 21 days off.
River rats get the bug early, beginning as deckhands when they are teenagers. Master pilot Jim Taylor, an Arkansas native, has been in the business for 34 years.
Those men out there on deck work very hard. It's very dangerous. They work in all kinds of weather. It doesn't matter whether it's raining or snowing or 20 below. They have to go.
The sleeping quarters aren't like the Queen Mary, but they are comfortable. Each room has a sink, shower, and toilet facilities are nearby. The flooding in downtown Chicago is also affecting barge traffic. Some boats on the Chicago River have literally been left at the dock. This barge, loaded with scrap iron, is destined for New Orleans. But the trip to the Crescent City has been put on hold until the Chicago River is open again to traffic. And traffic on the Ship and Sanitary Canal and the Sag Channel has also been affected since the Army Corps of Engineers opened the locks at Lockport, lowering the river level.
We can't get to any of these docks facilities up there. We've had this boat here lay by here all night last night just to see if the water level will come up any. Right now we're going to try taking a chance with the barge load that's drawn 8 foot and these 3 empties to try to get them up there so we at least get some barges moving and deliver to these docks.
Despite the low river level, the crews do the best they can. Trip to the kitchen helps break the monotony. At speeds of 2 to 3 miles an hour, time seems to stand still. But it's a life the river rats have chosen, and they're a friendly lot. Give them a greeting when you see them, and I guarantee they'll wave right back. John Drummond, Channel 2 News.
What happens when the water recedes after a break?